and pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. I guess we're going to kick off with our facility meeting first. So I know we have a few parents here tonight, so we're doing our facilities meeting first, and then after that, we'll do our public comment. This is an update on how we're doing with our construction. So you'll want to hear it.
So we have Jeremy Rowling and Ricardo Aguiano here with Gilbane to present an update on the construction project. And then we have Dan Critta from Wold that will also present some updates regarding the project and some change orders.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm going to start off, as we always do, with the drone video for now the demolition of the existing Sunnyside apartment. So as you probably noticed as you're coming in, the building is coming down and moving right along. So we're moving towards finishing off the site. And I'll let Joe show this video quick, and then I'll pop back up here. All right, so that gives you a little bit of an overview where we're at. That video was taken last week, at some point, I think Tuesday last week. So Sunnyside, what used to be Sunnyside is completely taken down. The foundations remain in the ground there, but they'll be coming out here in the next week or two. And then the MacArthur structure is, as of today, probably a little over 50% down. And working on concrete foundations, stuff moving south to north. So we have probably another 3 weeks, give or take, cleaning up the old building, getting rid of that, and then we will start immediately following with the rest of the underground storm detention system, followed by the parking lot, concrete work, the asphalt paving work, and lastly, to finish it off, the landscaping work for the fields. So it's moving along. It'll be wrapped up this summer still, and ready to go for the next school year. So no real issues to report there. And then just to kind of fill you in on stuff remaining for the existing or for the new building, excuse me. We continue to pick away on punch list items, commissioning, open commissioning items. There are 2 punch list items left for the building and about 10 commissioning items, commissioning being related to the HVAC, the mechanical systems, just making sure everything is dialed in per the design and that there are no issues moving forward. So we continue to work on that stuff in the off hours, on days off, and we're just about there. So that's really the update for Sunnyside MacArthur. Pretty short and sweet. I do have 3 change orders for you tonight related to that project. If I can switch gears to that, and then I'll turn it over to Ricardo, who has a little bit more of an update with Riley and North Lake. So we've talked about district change order 144. We've talked about this for a couple of months now, and with regards to the lighting on the site and the request to improve the light levels, both here on the north end between the district office and the building, and then as well on the south end and the east side of the parking lot. So we've worked through 3 iterations of pricing on this and designed to improve light levels, reutilize as many of the poles and lights as we can, and we think, we believe we've come to the best option. And the final pricing on that comes in at $97,339. So that is going to add 9 additional poles to the site, 6 at the far south end, 1 right here at the north end, and 2 on the kind of the northwest side. It's also going to add 2 lights on the wall or on the side of the building, wall pack lights, and then it's going to shift 5 of the poles around to different locations on the site. So reutilizing that, minimizing the new material that we had to order there. So, so that is the first one for your approval, and that's PR 61. One item to note with this is the lead times on light poles went up drastically with the start of summer and site work starting. So we're seeing 12 to 16 week lead time on light poles. As a team, we made the decision about 2 weeks ago to release the light poles, the 9 new ones, just to get them in the queue. But we don't expect to receive light poles themselves until probably August. So we'll get all the underground work done, get all the concrete bases in, be able to landscape and finish up, and then we'll pop back in and put those poles up as soon as we get them. So the next change order I have for you is change order 145 related to PR 63, and this is adding a doorbell to this for the kitchen at the receiving dock area, so that as drivers deliveries come in, they can hit the door, hit the bell, and the kitchen staff will hear the chime. So the cost there is $2,507. And the last one is change order 146, which is for the replacement of 3 bathroom lock sets, for which the lock sets were tampered with. Parts were removed from those doors and have not been found. So we need to, or we're proposing to replace those lock sets. The remaining parts and pieces will be turned over to the maintenance staff so that they have those to use if they should be needed in the future. So the replacement of those lock sets, the cost is $3,992. Those are the 3 items I have for you guys, and that actually leaves us with a clean slate on the Sunnyside and MacArthur side. So there's no pending change orders or things that we're currently estimating. So, any questions for me?
Anyone from the board have any questions? Administration?
Oh, Laura, did you want me to give an update on the overall project budget with
Yeah.
contingency and allowance?
Yes, please.
Okay, so just looking at kind of the big picture and where we're at, obviously we're right there on Sunnyside MacArthur. We're kind of putting the finishing touches on this site, and the addition at Riley North Lake, as you're about to see, is pretty much wrapped up. We're working on some site work, and then we're getting ready for the last summer's worth of work, right? So to kind of give you the picture of where we're at, you can see here the remaining contingency. If everything that we're asking for your approval on tonight, and then even the estimated stuff that's hanging out there at Riley North Lake, if all that's approved, you've got just under $2 million left in contingency. On top of that, we sit here today with about $1.2 million left in trade contractor allowances built into the bid packages. That as we're closing contracts out, we're removing whatever funds are left over, and at the end of the day, we'll move that all back into the contingency so that you're left with 1 bucket. So I'm very happy to report that I think as a collective team, we've worked hard to manage this number all the way through, and we sit here with just under 3.2 million left. And for the stage we're at, that's really good shape. As you can see, we've spent just under $1 million on total approved change orders for the whole project. So that's pretty well done on it all fronts. So and then we're tracking on the Gilbane front in addition to this, and I don't have exact figures, but we're tracking very well on our general requirements items and some of our reimbursable items too. So there may be even some leftovers there. So in good shape financially, in my opinion.
But from the board point of view, we really appreciate you guys managing our money like that. We don't have very much. So, but yes, so thank you.
You're welcome.
So I know the Gilbane team has heard me multiple times at our owners meetings that, reminding everyone that the board approved $111 million worth of projects, and we only went to the community for $105 million. So that $6 million is local. So the money that's left over, granted, I know we have to get through this summer through renovations, but the money that's left over will help offset that local contribution from fund balance. So it will help that and then reduce the amount of fund balance that we have to contribute.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
As we just did with Sunset MacArthur, we'll start off with the drone video and then I'll give you an update. So we have a finished building, right? It's space plan we come together here, so. Yeah, as you can see, from the inside, the past couple months here, we really dedicated our time here and basically finishing up all the paint. All the flooring, the gym flooring is been painted, so it's slightly different from that, as Jerry mentioned. This was taken on Tuesday. There is still items that are ongoing here. But that gym floor now has striping in place. It's starting to come alive here. So that's what's been happening over the past month here at the inside. Excuse me. Today we actually started our punch list with our teammates over at Wold. So they're actually walking through the stage, formulating that punch list. Hopefully by the end of tomorrow, we can begin to address some new items that fit each other where basically putting the final touches on the tender building here. So at the exterior, as Jerry mentioned, we are still working through all of our civil improvements here. The work that you can see from the outside, we have sidewalks on the, sorry, I was directionally challenged here. So on the west side, all the sidewalks have been poured. On the east side, basically, I want to say about 75% of that concrete has already been poured today. By the end of the week, all the concrete work should be just about done. And then followed by our pavement on both sides, east and west side. This should only take about 2 days here. So we've made quite a bit of progress. I know pavement and all of the civil work we were hoping to get it completed by the end of April. With the weather and severe weather that we had the last couple of weeks, it kind of pushed us back a little bit here. But we are still making progress, pushing along here. And by the second week of May, you can comfortably say that the civil work should be touched out as well. Site fencing should be coming down. Essentially, so turned over to you also. That's what we kind of have. As a progress update. Any questions on this before I move over to change orders?
Looks great.
Team effort. Team effort, so. All right, so I have 9 change orders to go over, and then 2 updates. So I'll go ahead and start off with the 2 updates before that. First item that I have an update for is district change order 141. This is the exterior ramp and rating updates. We started off with this value at $27,000. We continue to bring this number down. We'll see it come down one more time before we get a final value here. But right now we're at $15,813. We are modifying this railing a little bit, just see some more savings there. So I am still working on that number and hoping by the end of the week to get an update here. So should come down. Next we have the microwave power that's basically microwave power at the Riley admin area and at the North Lake admin area. Excuse me. Here what we had to do was we had to open up a wall in that admin area for Riley. We did that work on TNM. We figured that was going to be the best dollar value there. So we started with this value at $3,085. We've now brought it down to $2,197. So a little under $1,000 for those savings there. All right, and now we have the change orders that we have up for approval here. The first one that we have is district change order 147. Not sure if you all remember, but a little while back, over at Sunset MacArthur, there was a request to add RPZs, which basically prevents water from traveling backwards into your water lines, and some thermostatic mixing valves mixes water. Regardless, we received the comments over at Sunnyside MacArthur. Proactively, we haven't had the inspectors come out just yet to Riley North Lake, but we wanted to again, proactively just address these before the inspectors ever came out. So we went ahead and made those adjustments. We did this on a time and material ticket. Again, just to make sure that we're getting time spent is the time that's being wasted here or being accounted for dollars. The dollar value here is $12,372. So next we have district change order 148 for PR 44. In the North Lake basement, there was a request to basically create 3 new openings for supervision in the fitness rooms that were just built out. Way back when, this was one large space. When we went through the value engineering budget, we closed it up. We realized that we needed a little bit more supervision, so we created 3 openings. The cost to create those 3 openings, which include steel, opening up of the wall, additional painting, and some floor protection, we're currently sitting at $21,971. District change order 149. Correlated to PR 47. This is at the north wall of North Lake Gym. There was canopy that was existing when we opened it up. Discovered that there was steel there. We needed to make some modifications to remove the steel and basically make that a completely finished cohesive wall. So we had the infill for the door figured. We didn't have the infill for the canopy. And all of that. So the removal of the steel infill for that canopy area, just to make sure it's all one similar wall type. We're looking at an additional cost of $6,158. Next, we have district change order 150 associated with PR 48. With the renovation, at the Riley admin area, when we removed some of the walls that were there, we uncovered the fiber line that was running through that space. It was actually buried in the wall. That fiber line provides internet from or between the 2 schools, between Riley and North Lake. In the addition, we are installing 2 new fiber lines to serve as a form of what's the word? Redundancy. Thank you. Yeah, but it serves as a form of redundancy, because we do have those two new lines going in, this existing fiber can be demolished. But we cannot do that until we have the two new fiber lines installed and ready to go, which won't happen until the end of the summer. So here we have, as an uncovered condition, the caustic demo, and remove that wall as well as touch up the drywall and flooring and everything that, is currently inhabited by that conduit and fiber line. So the cost there is $3,775. Next, we have district change order 151, associated with PR 49. The same doorbell system that we are going to be, that we're looking, we proposed at 77 MacArthur that goes from the loading dock to the kitchen. Same thing over at Riley North Lake. It would be essentially a doorbell at the loading dock area, and you hear the chime in the kitchen. So the cost here, we have $1,785. District change order 152. This is associated with PR 51. Over at Riley North Lake, we found two conditions. One of them at North Lake in the northeast corner, the existing sidewalk was actually draining towards the building. That caused water to go into the building and create a little bit of water infiltration into that basement. So what we did here, we actually removed that concrete and repaved it and sloping away from the building, just trying to minimize any water that can potentially gather up against that building. So that was one part of it. The second part is over at Riley, over at the northeast corner of Riley, right next to the playground. There was essentially a washout area. There was a tree in its place. It was an area that I know gave Dale quite a bit of trouble. So while we had all the contractors on board, we found a way to renovate that space, provide a concrete slab, and drain water a little bit more efficiently, more safely, minimizing the maintenance for that specific area there. So as of right now, the cost is a not to exceed value. We figured that with our excavator, we can get a little bit of a better value doing it on TNM. So the cost as of right now is $28,863. Yeah, it's not to exceed value. We are finalizing that now. So district change order 153. As we were going through the building, through Riley specifically, we uncovered that there was 6 VAV boxes on one thermostat that control the air within that building. Those VAV boxes and the thermostat are currently not communicating to the automated mechanical system. We found that those boxes are currently not working. So we're working with precision to replace those VAV boxes, replace that thermostat to make sure that you have a fully functioning system there. So there we have a cost of $17,950 to get those swapped out, get it all operational. Next, we have district change order 154. This is correlated to an RFI. There was a design update to modify the ladders that were going to be placed on the addition. Originally, there was just a vertical to safely be able to get up there. The design was adjusted slightly so that there's a crossover platform and then a return landing back down. That occurs at 4 ladders up on the roof. And in addition, there was a crossover ladder that was added to a parapet that was about 2 feet tall. So the cost for those ladders and modifications there, we're looking at $25,020 there. Next, we have district change order 155, associated with PR 54. As we were finishing up the addition, there was conversations back and forth with one of our contractors as to how we finish out the learning stairs. We found that there was a scope gap with that specific contractor over at 77 MacArthur, right at the stage, the hardwood stairs going up. Same design intent over at Riley North Lake, a little bit of confusion through there. So basically to get this all to be, I guess, apples to apples, the same comparison, same material over at Riley Northlake. We reached out to our general trades contractor. Our general trades contractor came back with a cost with a price of $46,154, which is what's listed on here. We figured that number was too high. So we are proposing it as a not to exceed value. We used our partners over at Sunnyside MacArthur, the same general trades contractor that we have here, Hargrave. We asked them to provide a number for us. And the number that they came back to us actually just earlier today is $21,570. So we essentially cut the number that's on the screen in half. So that's the number that we are at the end of the day hoping to get approved here. And then the very last item that we have on here, Joe, can you go to that last PDF of the bathrooms, please? So at Riley, there is two staff bathrooms and a janitor's closet in this format here. Those bathrooms were not going to be renovating. But as the abatement and this progress kind of progressed, we discovered that the bathrooms have asbestos tile in them. And to keep with the goal of, if we know about the abatement, let's try and get rid of it, right? That's the goal that we've always stated. So the cost that we have proposed here is essentially to renovate these bathrooms. They go from this format. You want to go to page 2, Joe? To the format here. So essentially we'd be matching the same layout that we have over at Sunnyside MacArthur. With that, we have underground plumbing, overhead work that needs to get adjusted, new finishes. So it'd be a full demolition of the existing condition and a full reconstruction. So as of right now, we haven't had design drawings, so that's the reason we wanted to bring this up before we proceeded forward, make sure we had your approval before we can move on with further drawings here. So as of right now, we anticipate this cost to be a not to exceed value of $100,000. So I guess one other thing to add here is for Riley and Northlake, those staff bathrooms were really the only staff bathrooms that we wouldn't be touching. Actually, only space that we really wouldn't be touching if we were to make this change. But everywhere else you have essentially a freshly renovated space as well, and we get rid of the asbestos. So, any questions?
Any questions?
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Is there a certain order you'd like me to cover? Just start,
You have a couple of them to go through, so whichever orders works best.
all right, something. We can start with this since the graphic is up. One thing that we've been talking about as an OAC committee is the necessity of storage or outside storage for snow blowers, salt, those kind of things that DL needs to access to maintain the site. At the Northlake Riley site, there was a storage building, but it had to be moved because when ComEd got involved, they said they had a transformer, had to move it basically in that location, and the distance away from the storage building was not adequate. So we knew that we had to find another location and a new solution there. At the Sunnyside MacArthur site, we had a pad, poured a concrete pad just at the end of your maintenance bays here that was intended to set a storage building similar to what you see here. We did not have the storage building included in the bid. We had the concrete pad to support it. So we started looking at what solution would work at both sites. So this is basically a prefabricated storage unit structure that is available. It's basically shipped here on a truck and then set in place. It would give Dale and his team the adequate storage, and then would be one at each site. When we looked at the pricing for that, to be able to run some power off that, so they have lighting and a convenience outlet at this site, I believe it was I need to look at my cheat sheet on that. Approximately $60,000. We had to do some estimating for power and the actual setting of the unit, but the company that provides those structures gave us a good solid estimate on actually delivering that unit to the site. So that's one option that we explored at the Sunnyside MacArthur site, and that would be that little blue box there for option one here is right on the other side of this wall. So at the end of your staff parking lot out here. The second option, as we looked at, is this the right time to look at adding a bay to your current maintenance facility? Obviously, a little more robust solution for storage on your property here, but it would give you some more long-term advantages and maybe solve some other district storage needs versus just site storage needs. So we looked at what would the cost be to add one more bay similar to what you have here, kind of silhouette that in the images you see there. To look at, it would be an extension of exactly what's out there. You would not need that small storage unit anymore. And this would actually take place about where Jeremy and Ricardo's trailer is out here, their construction trailer. Now this is because it's a little more expansive solution. The estimate we have for this and the Gilbane team helped us target what this might cost from an all-in cost. The range that we're anticipating is about $330,000 to $360,000. Again, giving you some more long-term advantages as far as storage beyond what you just need for your site amenities here, your site snow blowers and salt. So that's option two for this site. Then option one at the North Lake Riley site. And Joe, I think there is an image of that. Again, similar prefabricated storage unit. It would be sitting adjacent to where the proposed dumpster corral would be. And it would give kind of a central location for, again, snow blower, site, salt, things that have to be easily accessed. It would not be a heated space. And that'd be one big difference between these small storage sheds versus adding another bay onto your maintenance building here. That could be a tempered space or heated space. These would be basically cold storage. So this solution at this site was a little less because we're closer to a power source, and we had estimated this to be about $55,000 for this site. So this one we have to do something because of the transformer implications. And then we have two options at the Sunnyside MacArthur site. So something to think about that as we move forward. These would be options because of the delivery time on the prefabricated storage units. If we order those today, they're looking at about a November, December delivery. So there's quite a lead time on these components. So it's something you can consider the next month or so, but that would be about the lead time. We're looking at about 8 months. So it would probably be more of a late winter, early spring installation. If you were entertaining actually adding another bay of maintenance to our storage on the end of your current facility, we'd be looking at that would be something you'd have to design and bid and probably build over next summer. So the delivery time would be a little later into probably the end of next summer. So it's more informational than not asking for a decision tonight, but we just want to put these options on the table for discussion or for questions you might have.
So we've had several conversations on how to proceed since the concrete pad was included in the project for future use for a shed. And the need is there, and we continue to look at what options and timing we have. You know, if we went with the shed option, that would be faster. If we went with extending the garage bays, we are looking at, is there a way, instead of putting the pad there, to take advantage of the contractors all being on site over the summer to incorporate maybe the footings, the foundation part, and putting that in first, and then bidding the rest of it. Because there's already, the contract already includes that concrete pad. So remove instead of the pad, put the footings and the foundation for the garage extension, if that's something the board is interested in. So we're trying to see, you know, is it beneficial timing wise, because you've got all of these trades on site over the summer doing the excavating, and I know I'm gonna miss something, the ground prep foundation work, thank you. So that's why we're presenting this, to get some feedback from the board. And if you would like, we can, if any questions, we can bring more information back next month to the board, or send it out, you know, weekly update.
Or are you willing to take the lead on this? Give us a recommendation to the board?
To, on which way to go?
Yeah.
So personally, I see that the extension on the maintenance garages provides more opportunity, not only for the storage, for the, so I said MacArthur to access their salt or their snow blowers and that type of equipment. But there are times over the summer when we have a great deal of deliveries, you know, tech equipment or other deliveries that are getting sorted and then distributed to the schools. So that gives us additional space to house that while it's sorted over the summer and then redistributed.
And Dale, what kind of impact would it have on your operation?
The extra storage garage has multiple bonuses to it. We're always in lack of storage from the district. It helped us clear out a lot of stuff that we could take out of our boiler rooms, a lot of text supplies, a lot of book deliveries. It's very beneficial to have the extra storage space.
Back to the administration, don't let the administration. Either boards make advice, how many members. Board committee agrees. I don't think we're in a position as a board to say what means for the. So we get administration opportunity. That's it. Okay. Thank you.
Are you asking for our recommendation right now?
Do you need it tonight? I understood him say you don't need it.
No, I thought we would bring it back, but
I do want to see if I can. For everything that's just in there.
more of a breakdown than the range that's on.
Oh, yeah, I mean, was the 330 that include everything that electricity they have going there, outlets?
Yeah.
everything was-
Yeah, the 330 to 360 was our best estimate of all in completion. So it is your power supply, heaters, basically a finished maintenance garage envelope. And the other two options also have an estimated component to it, but we also have the hard costs of those prefab sheds. So we're pretty confident that 55 to 60,000, depending on which site we're at, is a good number. So we know at the Riley North Lake that we're in for about 55,000. By that shed at this campus, it would be, the range would be either 350-ish here for the extended bay, or for a standalone shed, we'd be closer to 60,000. So the swing could be in the neighborhood of 300,000 at this campus. Certainly with different advantages with the maintenance and garage extension.
What will be the difference in the square footage?
The sheds are just 10 by 12 for just a basic outside storage. The other unit, I want to say, was about 1,100 square feet, almost 1,200 square feet. Yeah, very close to that. Yeah, we had 29 by 38 would match what you have out there for each bay of that garage.
And so the finishes would match the same masonry and stone that's on the existing base.
We're going to follow the administration.
Sounds good. We'll give an update in each weekly memo. And then we have a team meeting tomorrow. We can discuss this further. There'll be other questions we'll have to look at, like does it impact water retention? There's different things we'll have to look at. But there really are no other options at Riley North Lake. But just so we're clear with everyone on the board, What happens is we have a snow blower, let's say, means you also have gas. So you have to have it separate from the school, otherwise the fumes are in the building and it's a safety issue. So that's kind of why it has to be not exactly attached to the building. And so we've asked our team to come up with options. And we, as Dale said, we're always struggling with storage in the district. Just like everyone is in their homes, you're struggling, but what happens is, Mrs. Vince pointed out and Mr. White, when we get deliveries, they're often pallets. And where do they go? We've got to get them inside often, as you said, in a temperature controlled environment, especially if it's technology or books. We'll give an update, thank you.
All right, I will move on, and I see, Joe, you've got the letter to Laura up there. I think that is the change order for, now, these projects are, that we're giving an update on the change orders tonight, are things that these fine gentlemen are not involved with. So, these are Wold specific projects. The first one being the furniture package at Sunnyside and MacArthur. There's a few conflicts at desktops. As construction moved on, we had already ordered the desktops from certain desks. We had to make some provisions in construction to get things fit, but the desktops were ordered. So there's a modest change to adapt those desktops and reinstall those of $1,211. So that's a minor impact to the overall furniture budget. If you scroll down a little bit, Joe, you can see this budget overall is in good shape, and we're pretty much wrapped up here at Sunnyside and MacArthur. We don't anticipate any drastic issues at Riley and North Lake either on the furniture side, so this budget is very much intact. The second change order that I'll be talking about tonight is at the Jefferson Whittier project. I think that's on the next page.
And Mr. Critic, can I just point out on that other page, that there's still significant contingency for freight and delivery. So we still have some furniture coming in at Riley North Lake, but the bulk of the furniture, well, there was a lot of it delivered last summer and then over spring break. So there is $127,000 that is still freight and delivery contingency. If that is unused, then that goes back to the district.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
That would also include the $290,000 that is unencumbered right now, as another line item that would be back to the district purposes. So Jefferson Whittier, a couple things have arisen. Now, this was a general contractor bid that we had a couple months ago, and as the investigation by the contractors is initiated now, they're getting ready to really kick off the construction here as soon as school's out. But they've been doing their fact finding, some of their field reconnaissance early. So one thing they came across is there's a couple of unique field conditions where doors take place that are just odd sized doors. It was something that wasn't in our drawings. But as a standard door height, these were anomalies to that. So there's a slight charge to have them make sure that the doors fit those existing openings of $777. So a modest change on that front. And then the second item that you see up there is we're still doing some back and forth with contractors. We're promoting this as a not to exceed number, but we have some rails to protect access up on the roof with mechanical equipment, and those rails that are intended to be supported in the structure, because we've got some space based on the units that were actually provided, because we kept it in a competitive environment, so we can't predict exactly the size. We've got a little bit of space constraint around, so we've got to change how we're fastening these safety rails on the roof. So we're right now looking at a couple different options with the contractor, but this was the second attempt at bringing that number down. We started a little bit higher, but we think there's still room for that number to come down. But right now it's at $19,556 as a potential to make sure we've got those rails in place. And you can see that these are the first change orders for this project. That project came in well under budgets. It just did a good market timing. And the first change order here, those two items I just mentioned, would be in the neighborhood of $20,000, but we're still going to work on that $19,000, try to get that down. That's really it. Any questions on those two items?
Any questions from anyone?
And the health life safety renovations project, that is part of the $111 million of capital improvements. But it is on a separate contract outside of the Gilbane contract. And the change orders that, the Gilbane change orders and these change orders that Mr. Fritta just shared with us will all be included in the regular board meeting for board approval.
Should we move on to the signage plans?
Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
absolutely. So, another item that we're looking for the board approval. We put a package together to provide signage. This is room signage for not just Sunnyside and Carver, but actually Riley, North Lakes. We bundled that all into one package, just add a little more cost effectiveness, and this will all happen over the summer. This building will happen because it's available as soon as the products are available. But Riley North Lake will have to hold out until construction is done because they've got field verified openings and things for the window shades. So it's the signage, the roof signage, and all the window blinds for both campuses are in this budget. We got good bid day competition. We had 5 bidders. They were all within thousands of dollars of each other, which is unusual. We had one standalone bidder that was a little bit lower than the pack, and they are the apparent low, but they are standing by their bid. They're at $210,100. So that number, Joe, is there a letter in for that?
I don't see a letter.
Okay. I'll walk through it. I think it's the board packet. We had 5 bidders. The low bidder was $210,100. It's Just Right Acoustics, and that is quite a bit below what we had budgeted for that package. So we think we had really good bid results. This and kind of the entirety of furniture, fixtures, and equipment. This budget is also tracking very well. You saw a little bit of that on the furniture side, but we also have the playground equipment bundled in this budget, and obviously the contingency. So overall, collectively, there's about $496,000 in that budget because of some of the bid results that we've been seeing over the multiple packages. Playground is right on budget. This is tracking below budget. We also saw a little bit of the furniture and freight and delivery is another contingency that Mrs. Spence mentioned that's still hanging out there. So we're in good shape on this furniture and fixtures and equipment budget.
Any questions?
And then the last bid to review, we had a bid for relocation moving services to move the furniture out of Riley North Lake, primarily North Lake this summer. There's still a little bit of work at Riley, but primarily at North Lake. And we had 2 bidders come in, and one of the bidders, which Dale vetted out the bid. We have a communication that they stand by their bid. So it's significantly lower than the other bid, but that will be presented for bid award during the regular board meeting, along with the bid for signage and blinds. So the board will be asked to take action during the regular meeting.
Is there anything else I missed that wanted an update?
I think that's everything. We had kind of a full packet this month.
Yes.
So-
Appreciate it. Thank you.
A lot going on.
Lot going on, yes.
Oh, a quick update on the settlement of Riley North
Yes,
Lake.
yes.
Based on the information we're getting from the testing company, there's been some very modest movement there. We've been talking as a team with the Gilbane team and our owner administrators that it probably will make sense to go in and level those floors this summer. We may also look at doing some shoring up with the floor slab, but we don't feel that the foundations are the culprit at this point in time. That might be something you might have to tackle down in the future. But I think the best course of action, and we'll talk about this one more time with our team, is to level the floors, finish those spaces out. And then maybe do some shoring of the slab underneath, because I think we're talking about millimeters and movement, so it's been very gradual. And the testing company will continue to track that, but I think we're at a point where let's let that renovation finish up the spaces. At the start of school, everybody be in the spaces as finished as they're supposed to be. And then it's something we'll continue to track, but I don't think we want to go into the effort of underpinning and shoring the foundations of the building. There's just not that much movement that we see at this point in time. So something we'll continue to track, but we can put a ribbon around this first phase here and finish up the spaces. And the one question that we'll have to talk about further as a team is, do we do anything with the support of those floor slabs to just stabilize us a little bit before we start leveling the top of those floors?
So we'll keep the updates coming.
Yeah, that is meant for information. It's something we're still talking through. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rowland. Anything else? Thank you, Jeremy.
That is
Thank you, Carl.
the end of the updates for the facilities committee.
Okay. No. We appreciate the updates. You guys did a really good job. Thank you. Keep the information coming. Really appreciate that as well. We got a lot of stuff tonight to do for the board to do. And we're gonna kind of deviate from the agenda with it going forward this evening. But the main team and the other team welcome to stay. We have to organize our board as well as have some guests who want to speak to us. So if you guys want to stay, welcome. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Before we get started, I get a roll call, please.
Hightower.
Here.
Jackson.
Present.
Mason. Here. Travis. Warren. Here. McConnell. Here. Sosa.
Mr. Lemkamp, are you going to stay for a little bit? And then we'll ask our parents to do their public comment. And then, because parents, thank you for waiting. Normally, in a school district, you're not having to go through the facilities meeting like this, but you happen to come during our construction season. So thank you for being here. Dan Sullivan, superintendent, rather than have you continue to wait, if you filled out your card, and Mrs. Mason has it, the way it works is you can address the board for up to 3 minutes. And the board will listen to your concerns or whatever information it is that you'd like to share. And then I'll be back in touch on behalf of the board to respond. So Mrs. Mason.
We have Ms. Nikita Bryant. Topic of statement or question is high school placement pay school. Thank you.
I am here. My son is an EJ student at the elementary school in Westchester. He was scheduled to graduate from grammar school on the 25th of May. And at this point, the school has not been able to contact us regarding whether or not he would be able to attend the school of our choosing or a school of they chose. We have reached out to close that for about 5 or 6 months at this point to try to schedule a meeting with her regarding him attending either a school in district or out of district. And she has told us that she's not the person to speak to regarding that, that the school would be the person. And then we talked to the principal, Lauren Mayer, of his school. She did the same thing, would not be the school, it'll be the district. We called the district. They said it would not be the district, it'll be the school. So we've been going back and forth for about 6 months at this point. We have toured many different schools, but we've been told we cannot select the school to attend because the school has not written off that he could actually transfer to one school or the other. We have asked to give to the schools that are in the district, which are Franco East, Franco West. We were told initially that both schools were the ones that he would be able to attend because he's level 2 student of special needs programs, and that those are the schools he would attend in May. They have mandatory summer school, so he would attend school in May when I graduate. Then, as of last week, we were told by his school that the people who work in the persuasive department and both Franco West no longer works there. They don't know who works there. They tried to reach out to both schools, and they're never able to get in contact with anyone. Whenever they email or call, they are hung up. So they said at this point, they don't know who to talk to themselves. We were supposed to have a tour, both schools, 2 months ago, that has been canceled. And at this point, we were told initially, because of special needs programs, he would have 6 students per classroom with a teacher and an aide. At this point, we were told last week, they have 35 students in each classroom with no aide. Also, we were told the students would be in other schools, right, east, right to west, without an aide, and they would be all grade levels, freshman through senior, in one room together. So, my family, my husband and I have been speaking to the district, to the school, and at this point, we need to be able to schedule the meeting with both the district, his school, his home school now, as well as a tour, whatever school he can possibly go to before he attends it, because he's scheduled again to graduate in 4 weeks and to attend summer school mandatory in 6. And at this point, we have no information. And we talked with the school again, principal, twice a week, she said she can't reach anyone. So if she can't have the meeting, the mandatory meeting, beside her school that all 8th grade students can attend, they won't know, and he'll just be automatically placed somewhere in it. So I'm here asking to know, first of all, the person who would be in charge, whether it's the district or where, to initiate this meeting that we're going to have. I'm told it's going to be online, still virtual. Who the person is going to be? Can we schedule this meeting this week? We've been trying for 6 months. Can we schedule it as soon as possible? Can we tour the schools? Can we make sure that he will not have 30 students in a classroom? Make sure that he will have an aide. Just all these things, and to know this information as soon as possible, because he is scheduled to graduate. He and all of his classmates in both 8th grade classes to graduate in another 4 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. You have my card. I don't think we've ever spoken. It was nice to meet you tonight.
Thank you.
And then, so I'll get back in touch with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then Mr. McAfee. Nice to see you, sir. And thank you for your patience for waiting.
Mr. McAfee is here. His topic of statement or question is new business substitute teacher. You have to.
Yes, my name is Kristen McAfee. Super excited to be here. I was here earlier with the secretary. Great experience. And I was reading the mission written by you: one district, one team, one mission. Right? Great communication tool. And then in your message, it says communication is the key to our progress and share feedback. So I like to share feedback today. So I'm here as a father. I have an 8-year-old daughter. That's what kind of started my passion for education. But she learned it in the classroom. Right? How can I connect with her more? Right. So I decided to become a sub. And then I was at a board meeting like this one. The superintendent's like, we need more community engagement. We need more kids, parents, and business owners. So that led me to write this: superintendents take the best selfies. And I don't know which one of y'all take the best selfies, but so yeah, as a marketer, that's what I've been doing like for the last 15 years. You know, and I see challenges in education with marketing, right, which is leading to, you know, in this district, 41 openings, right, huge teacher shortage, right, and I'm like, ooh, it hurt my heart as a marketer. So I would like to, you know, help, you know, with the messaging, which is extremely important with bringing up the next generation, because, you know, we have to see around the corners for them, just like, you know, I hear you all talking about the real estate. It's very similar with marketing, right? We want to build out the virtual real estate, right? And we can do that with Facebook and all the social media platforms out there, right? Really connect with the audience in a unique way. So I've been doing that for 15 years. I've been able to, you know, help people get, you know, hundreds of thousands of followers, views, and really connect with the audience. So the virtual real estate is important. So I see, you know, from a communication standpoint, some of the websites, social media platforms you all haven't posted in a few years, right? And you all have a lot of important messages to talk about. So that's what I would really like. Because first of all, we want to, in my opinion, drive home the internal communication within the kids, within the staff, right? And give them confidence. Right, that's so important for the children and the staff, and then from that, the external communications will become better, and you'll gain. You know, I can help you gain followers and teachers and all that. That's the external side, but to me, it's just like the blueprint they talked about, right? And having that solid foundation. Once the foundation is solid, right, everything can be built on top of that. So yeah, I'm super excited. Hopefully I can take some selfies with you all and get a meeting, to help with drive the communication on. So thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Can I give you my card? So I'll reach back out on behalf of the board. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining our meeting tonight. And we will make sure the superintendent get back to you on both these issues. Okay, so thank you. You're welcome to stay. We have a lot of things to do. We're gonna bring our auditor up.
Thank you.
You don't have to leave on us. We're talking about money, okay?
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, okay.
Thank you for your patience, Mr. Lake.
Of course, not a problem.
We have Joe Lightcap, Baker Tilly, to present information or the communication with the board on audit plan.
And more, we're doing.
So tonight we'll discuss a little bit about the district's fiscal year 23 audit. And as time does fly, you're about a month, you're about 2 months away from the end of your fiscal year. The audit dates are a bit tentative at this point, but we have planning scheduled for June 21st to June 23rd, a little bit before fiscal year end, and finals the week of August 21st and August 28th, with a wrap-up week in October. Your in-charge auditor is scheduled to return again, which is great from everyone's standpoint, from a familiar face who understands the district operations. So this timing is consistent with prior years. There is one new accounting standard that will help the district adopt on subscription-based IT arrangements. So we'll have to dig into that a little bit to see if there's a potential asset and liability to put on the district's financial statements. We will once again audit the district's spending of your federal awards, as we do every year when you spend over $750,000. We'll work with Mrs. Vince to develop a timeline to present the audit to the board in a timely fashion after it's completed. And a little bit about our planning and the goal of an audit. So the goal of an audit is to provide reasonable assurance that material misstatements, whether caused by error or fraud, are detected. During our planning time, we will review the district's internal controls in order to plan our audit procedures. It doesn't provide you an opinion on internal controls, but if we find anything that we feel the board should know about, we will present it when we're back for the final audit presentation. We'll discuss those matters at those times. Of course, we'll bring them up to management throughout the audit and make sure we have all of our facts straight and see what the district can do about it if there is anything in a more timely manner than waiting to the board presentation. We will also review interim financial statements, board minutes, have discussions with management and a board member to see if there are any particular risky audit areas. And then when we come back at final field work, we'll execute on our planning. So we'll develop our audit procedures at planning, and then we'll come in and we'll look at a bunch of supporting documentation. We'll ask a bunch of questions on fluctuations, count fluctuations, and then we'll also audit the federal awards. We'll work with management throughout this process, but if there are any matters that the board feels warrant particular attention, we'd love to have those discussions with you. Every year I present the communication to management and those charged with governance. It has my email, my phone number, but if you don't have that or you need it, definitely get in touch and talk about anything you'd like, not only now, not only during the audit, but anytime throughout the that I see if there's any questions from the board about the audit description.
Any questions?
No questions.
All right, well, thank you so much, and we'll be back in October, November, December for the final audit results.
Well, thank you, and thank you for your patience.
Okay,
Appreciate
yeah,
it.
of course.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Good night.
Okay, we're moving along pretty nicely, okay? what we need to do is, we'll do a special board meeting. Or right to our special board meeting. We have some things to do in our special board meeting, so. Okay, the first thing on our agenda tonight, we have to do a adoption of the candidate certificate of the results. We can do that for a voice vote. Motion. Looking for a motion from the board to adopt the candidacy vote results. Ms. Jackson and Ms. Mason. Let's get a roll call in, please.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Mason.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Warren.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, next thing on the agenda, we have to elect an interim chair. So we have anyone who want to be interim chair?
So I think they would have to be somebody who is not going to be a new board member. Right. So that would be Mrs. Mason or Mr. Jackson.
Mrs. Jackson, we want you to become really special, be interim. Understand? So you got anything to do?
You can move over a little, honey.
Hey, Mr. Jackson.
Oh, you're I was taking.
And want the interim secretary.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, so now we have to have interim secretary voted in new board members.
I'm good. Did you want me to resolution? You will. Well, it says president. Did I read it? Hold on a second.
The president asked. So you.
Ready? We have the resolution regarding term of board.
We have to stand very late. This will come as well.
Let me go down to.
At the same time, yeah.
Just a second. Wait, you have, wait, this is even easier. Okay. Should be late. I know.
Get on the resolution.
Okay. Yeah, so.
The first.
Yes. Yes. Hold on just a second. Let me get back there. Justice.
Exactly.
We should do a resolution.
Hold on.
Resolution asking the board to appoint Mrs. O'Connell to fill out a 2-year term. For the next year.
Made a motion for the 2-year term pay to serve on the board.
So what are we doing?
Resolution for you to be a served on the board.
Oh. We have to read our motions. We get a second? Motion passed.
Roll call.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Laura.
Aye.
Mason. Aye.
Now,
It's. Both of us. We're gonna do the oath of office administered by Secretary Pro Tem. That will be to new board members. New board members, would you please stand? That includes you too, Mrs. Practice. Raise your right hand. And just repeat after me. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear
That I will faithfully discharge.
that I will faithfully discharge
The duties of the office of.
the duties of the office of
Member of the Board of Education.
member of the Board of Education.
Of School District 87.
87. School District 87.
In accordance with the Constitution.
In accordance with the Constitution
Of the United States.
United States.
of the United States.
The Constitution of the State of Illinois.
Constitution of the State of Illinois.
And the laws of the State of Illinois to the best of my ability. Now, everyone read the rest together.
Okay.
I further
I
swear
further swear
that
that
I shall
respect taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district assets. I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members and others who seek a hearing before the board, while respecting the privacy of students and employees. I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual, and that a decision should be made only by a majority vote at a public board meeting. And I shall abide by majority decisions of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in such discussions addressed in productive and constructive channels.
Congratulations, you all.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Bill resolution to adopt resolution regarding terms of board officers, which will be 1 year, 1 year. And then motion. Ms. Moore, Ms. Mason. The roll call.
Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mason. Aye. Mora.
Aye.
Mrs. O'Connor.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Each one is president, but it's, for the motion to election of the board president. Motion.
Board President, well, I nominate you, Mr. Hightower.
I second.
Motion.
Motion carried.
Vice President. So, adopt resolution for the election of the vice president.
Carlos Day.
I second that.
He's not present, but
He accepts.
did we get a motion? He accepts.
Yeah, he accepts.
Okay. Secretary.
Are you looking for a vice president?
Okay.
So secretary compensation, according to board policy 213.00, compensation of the secretary shall not exceed $500 per year. It shall be fixed at least 180 days prior to the selection of the secretary. As no change is permitted at this time, the salary is maintained at $40 per month or $480 per year. We ask that the board secretary compensation remain the same as last year.
Need a motion?
Okay.
Ms. Moore. Second. Ms. O'Connor. Okay. All right, so now we need to elect the secretary for the board.
The secretary?
Yes.
Well, I'll nominate Rose.
Rose Mason. I second that. All right. So Ms.
I accept.
Good, thank you.
Yes, approval of existing policies, rules and regulations. We ask that for approving existing policies, rules and regulations.
Jackson. And Ms. Moore. Roll call.
Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mason. Aye. Mora.
Aye.
O'Connor.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Setting time and place for holding meetings for the ensuing year. We ask that the regular board meetings be held on the fourth Monday of each month at 7 PM in the boardroom of the Administration Center.
Ms. O'Connell, and Ms. Small, roll call please.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mason, aye. Mora,
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Motion carried.
We also ask that the Board of Education continue with the law firm of Petrarca, Gleason, Boyle, and Isle LLC to continue to represent School District 87. And also that the auditing firm of Baker Tilly US LLP continue to act as the auditor for School District 87.
The motion. Ms. Mason and Ms. O'Connell, roll call please.
Mora,
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mason. Aye.
Let's go back to one of the chairs. And I would like to recommend that all the existing chair and co-chairs stay the same. Anyone that want to, we're saving some time.
Yep.
Or anyone that want to join another chair, position again. Otherwise, recommendation, everyone stay the same. Get a motion?
Yep.
Small, and Ms. O'Connell. Roll call please.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mason, aye. Mora,
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, resolution of authorization of signatures, be it resolved that School District 87 Board of Education by this act establishes the authorization of 2 impressed fund account signatures, and such authorized signatures shall be that of either superintendent, assistant superintendent for business services, board president, or board vice president. This resolution supersedes all other relative resolutions on this topic previously adopted by the board.
Okay, get a motion. Mr. Jackson. And Ms. Mason, roll call please.
Mason. Aye. Mora,
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson. Motion carried.
And actually, the title for our assistant superintendent should be for finance and operations. So that's the actual correct title. Could we just do that and vote again? Want to make sure we get the correct title, okay?
So I want to make a motion. Resolution.
Yeah, so the resolution that for authorizing signatures as presented. And now just do it again.
Good. Motion, Mr. Jackson and Ms. Moore. Roll call please.
Mason, aye. Mora,
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. My apologies for missing it.
Okay, were we clear on the new chairs to where you did that vote? Everyone stayed the same.
Everyone's the same.
Position, including Pace, and he was still here.
As long as I'm here, I will continue to go to Pace.
We really appreciate that. You're such a great son.
Can't take it away from you.
Okay, any other stuff before we adjourn this special?
President Franklin, do you take a separate action
I've got
on that because it's a separate agenda item
and that's right by where I live.
for the delegates?
It's so, I'm sure, that, you know,
Action on. What is
it's much- I don't.
But it says a point delegate and alternate to out of district committees.
Oh, okay.
You have to be.
We can go to each one, if you want.
Just the PACE and IESB.
So we have anyone that want to be on Pace board? That's your question.
No, just that that somebody make the motion and somebody submit it. That was it.
Okay, I get a motion to go on the Pace board. Motion.
For Peggy?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go on the Pace board. Is that okay?
You have to have a motion.
We have to have a motion for you.
Huh?
We're just gonna motion for you.
So I'll,
yeah.
and I'll read it and then we'll get to it. We asked, that the board appoint, Mrs. O'Connell to represent the board and the police board.
Motion.
Ms. Moore?
Well, I'll say if I did too.
Okay, now roll.
Get PACE and Ms. Mason on the IESB.
Yes. I accept.
I'm gonna read that separately. I'm gonna do a pace for it, it's gonna do IS.
Okay. So we need.
We got a motion, Ms.
So let me try this again, everybody. Pace board, we asked that the board, not approve Mrs. O'Connell to represent District 87 at the pace board. Let's take a vote on that.
Okay,
Okay, Mr. Jackson.
will do.
Morrison. Roll call, please.
Maura,
Aye.
O'Connell,
I,
Hightower,
okay, myself.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mason, aye. Motion carried.
We asked that the board approve Mrs. Mason for the IASB board.
Mr. Jackson, motion, and second this morning. Roll call, please.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mason, aye. Maura,
Aye.
motion carried.
Good. Thank you, Ms. Vick. Keep us in check. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mrs. Mason.
Okay. Anything else before we join the special session? Get a motion to adjourn this meeting? Mr. Jackson, Ms. Moore, roll call, please.
Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Maura.
Aye.
Mason.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Good. Yeah, to our regular board meeting.
Yes. Okay, we need to take roll call, we have an auditor tape. We're going right into our regular board meeting. At
8:22.
What's the bids?
Okay. We discussed earlier in the facilities committee, we have two bids for recommendation. And the first is the moving. So the suggested motion is that the Board of Education award the relocation moving services bid to Hollander Storage and Moving Company in the amount of $88,345 as presented.
Motion. Mr. Jackson, Ms. Moore, roll call, please.
Mason.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Maura.
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Motion carried. And that the Board of Education award the signage and blinds for Sunnyside Intermediate, Riley Intermediate, MacArthur Middle, and Northlake Middle Schools to Just Right Acoustics in the amount of their base bid proposal for $210,100 as presented.
Motion, Mr. Jackson, Ms. Mason, roll call, please.
Maura.
Aye.
Mason.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Motion carried. That's the end of the bids.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any public participation?
And we already did our public participation. Mr. Byrne, is there anyone online?
There is not.
Thank you, Mr. Byrne. So we asked the board accept the written correspondence as presented.
Motion, Mr. Jackson. Ms. Mason, roll call, please.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Maura.
Aye.
Mason.
Aye.
Motion carried.
We asked that the board approve the regular board meeting minutes of March 20th, 2023, and the closed session meeting minutes of February 27th, 2023 as presented.
Get a motion. Ms. Mason, Ms. O'Connell, roll call, please.
Mason.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Maura.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Motion carried.
And then for reports from the superintendent, there's no old business. Good.
No old business.
Business.
Yes, that the Board of Education approve the accounts and claims payable authorization as presented.
Motion. Mr. Jackson. Ms. O'Connell, roll call, please.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Maura.
Aye.
Mason.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Motion carried. And the month, there were no questions this month regarding the bills list. Okay. And then the monthly building rental report is provided in your packet for your review, and this is informational purposes only. Thank you.
Anything else, sir?
That's it on the whole business.
This strategy, this.
No business.
Right. Any other old business before we go into closed session number one? Okay. We'll be in closed session for, it'll be short. Be sure, okay, so if I step out, we'll be short and close session. I heard you. Okay. Consideration of minutes. Board report, so now. Their board report.
Okay, we had a PACE meeting April 19th. I'm not gonna read you my whole thing, all right?
Okay.
But I had a PACE meeting April 19th. I went. The next one will be Wednesday, May 17th at 6 o'clock, and as long as I'm a PACE person, I will go. Okay?
Your patient. So thank you. Ms. Mason, Mr. Reds not here. We had a facility right before this one, all the minutes of order of your packet. Okay. More other meetings? Any
Sorry?
minutes for your
No.
meetings?
No, nothing to report.
All right. So
Thank you, Mr. President. Bless you.
Bless you.
We, licensed personnel resignation, we asked that the board accept the resignation letter and the accompanying resignation agreement and release as discussed in closed session of the following personnel. Aaron Polko.
Oh, got a motion, Mr. Moore. Mr. Jackson, roll call please.
Howard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mora. Aye. O'Connell.
Aye.
Motion carried. Bless you.
The administrator resignation, please see the letter of resignation as shown under the correspondence for this meeting. For Ms. Valdez, Director of Language Learning, effective June 30th, 2023. We ask that the board accept the resignation letter of Ms. Valdez, Director of Language Learning, effective June 30th, 2023.
Get a motion. Ms. O'Connor, Mr. Jackson, roll call please.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mason. Mora.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Intent to retire. We ask that the board accept the intent to retire letter of the following personnel: Kara Fleming, Jacqueline Brown, and Diane Kuchke. And to do the years for that, Kara Fleming will be retiring at the end of the 2025-2026 school year. Ms. Brown will be retiring at the end of the 2025-2026 school year. And that Ms. Kuchke also will be retiring at the end of the 2025-2026 school year.
Motion. Ms. Moore and Ms. O'Connor, roll call please.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Mora. Aye. Jackson.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Motion carried.
We ask that the board employ the following personnel pending all employment paperwork: Montserrat Chavez, Riley teacher aide, and Jory Moten, MacArthur Middle School teacher aide, and that is dated 4/24.
Motion. Ms. O'Connor, Ms. Moore, roll call please.
Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Mora. Aye. O'Connell.
Aye.
Motion carried.
We ask that the board accept the resignation of the following personnel: Jasmine Zasadi, teacher assistant, effective May 1st, 2023.
Good motion. Mr. Jackson, Ms. O'Connor, roll call.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Mora. Aye. O'Connell.
Aye.
Motion carried.
We ask that the board accept the intent to retire letter of the following personnel: Kathleen Kusiva, nutritional service supervisor, effective June 9th, 2023.
Get a motion. Ms. O'Connor, Ms. Moore, roll call please.
Mora. Aye. O'Connell.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Motion carried.
We ask that the board approve the personnel leave request as presented for Nancy Martinez.
Motion. Mr. Jackson, Ms. Moore, roll call please.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Mora. Aye. Motion carried.
Fundraiser donation requests. We ask that the board approve fundraisers as presented: Whittier McTeacher Night and Spirit Wear, North Lake McDonald's Night, and Sunnyside to accept a $100 donation for the camp dog.
Your motion. Ms. O'Connell, Ms. Moore, roll call please.
Jackson.
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Motion carried.
And then just briefly for my oral report, I wanted to mention that each week you receive, or excuse me, each month you receive an update on our staffing plan. And our staffing plan for the 2023-2024 school year is very similar to the staffing projections we have right now. We opened up our registration and residency process this past week. So we are working on our returning families. And then after we finish with our returning families, we'll be opening up our registration and residency process for new families. The state average for class sizes is approximately 21.5. So we strive to keep our classes right around that size if we can. We also know in transition years, if we can have class sizes that are a little smaller than that, we try to. So for example, kindergarten, we try to have those classes to be smaller if we can. Third grade, because that's a transition year. Sixth grade is a transition year. So where we can, we might be a little bit less than the 21.5. The other thought too is in our bilingual program, in our special education program, we try to have class sizes lower. We know there's a lot of research to suggest that class size is directly related to student learning. So where we can, we work to do that. So I just wanted to mention that. The other is a result of our culture survey. I've shared this information with the board in our weekly memo, but I wanted to say that our pride, we had the same survey last year. In February, we gave it again this year. Our pride, meaning the question is to our staff, are you proud to work in District 87? So from last year, that went up by 1 percentage point. Our relationships, that question went up by 3%. Communication, that increased by 9%. Attitudes increased by 8%. And behavior, how we interact with each other in the district, has increased by 5%. So I just wanted to share that is consistent data that we've been asking staff for 2 years. But our goal is to try to get close to 100% pride. And what I mean by that, people are so proud to work here that they will recommend our district to us. That's how we want it. So unless there are any questions, that's the end.
Today's environment class size of 21.5.
That's what we're striving for.
Any questions for? Okay.
Hello, hi, everybody. So the first thing I have is our Title I consolidated plan. That's what this is passed out to everybody. You have your seats. And this is the cover sheet I updated just for your reference from the board packet to what you have in front of you. I updated the date at the bottom. I caught that error this morning. Our Title I consolidated plan really is the overarching. I'm just going to kind of give you a quick summary and then we'll move into recommendation. The consolidated plan is the overarching plan that outlines our district's continuous school improvement efforts from gathering data from a variety of sources. Strategies and action plans that are aligned to our district strategic plan, goals, and our key performance indicators. So we will be applying for multiple grants to be implemented during the 23-24 school year. And we'll be paying particular attention to allocating resources to help close our learning gaps. When we think about the grants that are in our consolidated plan, it looks at Title I, and that's to improve our educational programming, hiring teachers for academic interventions and support, supplemental materials, and software. Title II, that includes Title I 103A, our Illinois Power School Improvement grant. And Title II funds are used to help meet professional development needs in the district, preparing, training high quality teachers, and then also looks at for recruitment and retention of highly qualified staff members is the main purpose of that grant. When we look at Title III, we have 2 grants within Title III, our Immigrant Student Education Program and Language Instruction Education Program. And so our first one looks at supporting learning in core content and English proficiency through 4 domains. Our teachers of English learner students, they participate in different professional development activities, and best practices in developing our English and Spanish content, learning and acquisition for our students. And then our federal Title III immigrant student education program is used to assist immigrant students and their families to meet that same challenging grade level academic standards as our mainstream students while developing their English proficiency. And then we typically take our Title IV and we've been putting it into our Title I and kind of combining that. And that looks at developing our student support system, social emotional learning. We've done a lot with our trauma-informed practices. Then our IDEA, Individuals with Disabilities Act, and that looks at the needs of our students that have IEPs. It also helps provide services to our non-public student schools that have boundaries within Berkeley. Some of our students helps offset some of the tuition for our special needs students who attend PACE, as well as part B of that is our preschool program, which is a blended program, as well as the students that are at proviso area exceptional children, so at PACE as well. Then we also have our last grant, which is the Elementary Secondary School Relief Grant. Those are our ESSER funds, and we have used those to continue to address learning loss and implement prevention and mitigation strategies with the CDC guidance. And those were our last final years for those. For ESSER 2, we'll be closing that out, and then ESSER 3 we'll be finalizing that as well. So the main purposes of that grants, as I've outlined, and I think one of the things I wanted to share with the board really is each one of those grants have a specific requirement for professional development for our teachers. And professional development takes many forms within the district. It can be on-bedding coaching within the school day, having our teachers attend outside workshops outside the district, or having outside educational speakers come to our district. And each type of those professional learning opportunities have a different outcome and an opportunity for growth for our D87 staff. And I think something to always consider is that those monies are specific set-asides that we're required to do for professional development, and continuing to offer that to our staff gives us an opportunity to continue on the cutting edge of best practices and improvement of instruction. And it creates a staff who's prepared to meet the challenges of our ever-changing needs of our scholars within our community. So from that lens, do you have any questions from me? I gave you a lot of information. There's a lot more if you'd like to read the 34-page document that I'm going to take and now put into our grant applications. Do you have any questions for me before I proceed with that? So having said that, the suggested motion is that the Board of Education approve the consolidated district plan for the 2023-24 school year as presented.
Hey, oh, hands went right away. Motion, please.
Hightower,
Aye.
Jackson,
Aye.
Mora,
Aye.
O'Connell, motion carried. And then thank you. And the last two things for my or three things I have for my monthly report is we had a fantastic SEL family night the last couple of weeks. So we had I'm gonna have Dr. Bizanek talk a little bit about that, but we had between 300 to 500 people at each event. I would say 350, 400 people. It was beyond our wildest dreams on how many people came out, how many families came out. And I cannot tell you, I'm so proud of our team at the lead of Dr. Bizanek, of our SEL team, our social workers and our counselors, and the way that they came together to plan this fantastic event. I will turn it over to her to share a little bit more.
I think that it was really important, that power of the team, just to kind of give you an understanding of what these nights look like. And they are now our first annual SEL family nights.
Yes.
And we're definitely going to make this an annual tradition. So we opened up the evenings with an entertainer that we brought in, just so families could have a place to enjoy some time together. I mean, juggling on a unicycle was some pretty impressive stuff, but he also had a message placed in there just about the importance of being joyful and having time together as a family. So the event started out like that on both sides of the district, and literally standing room only in Northlake. We were exceeding and busting through the hallways. Thank goodness for this new space. We had a little bit more room to expand in with Sunnyside and MacArthur, but still a lot of people standing. I mean, so it was very joyous to see that many of our families are there for that. But the second half of the event was really the incredible part. For our north side event, we had 21 community resources that partnered with us. And for the south side event, we had 19 community resources. So literally thinking anything from homeless support, food pantries, mental health wellness, bank and loan support. Our families had the opportunity to visit through all these resources of all these amazing things that we have right here in our communities available to them. And so it was a great partnership between community and schools to see how it is a collective effort that we have that support. And we did it so that it was like a passport they had to fill out as they went through. They got stamps as they visited resources. And the key to that was some really great free food on the other side of it. So we had some cotton candy, popcorn, and then we also had bounce houses and carnival games. So it was just a phenomenal event, well exceeding our expectations. So now we got to figure out how to expand for the future, which we've already got some ideas for moving. I also get to bring to you another two exciting things. We were partnered with Panorama, as I've spoken to you, periodically throughout the year, which is our social and emotional survey. We have since expanded that to do some of our tiered support with our students. I was invited to participate in an Ed Week webinar, so a national webinar with hundreds of participants hearing about what we're doing here in Berkeley. So I was honored to have that privilege to share our story and the work we're doing on social emotional learning. We're just at the beginning. We're doing great things, but we've got a great plan ahead of us. So just another exciting thing to add. And then for summer school, as you know, we were in the past not sure what we were going to get for like our staffing because it's difficult times. However, we have exceeded all expectations for summer school for this year. We now have to start looking at additional grants to open up to expand our resourcing and expand the enrollment opportunities for our students. So I just get to present all the wonderful things to you tonight, and I'm glad that I get to do that. But there's some really great work happening, and there's some really great interest and even better opportunities existing continuously for our students. Yes, thank you.
And what's the target number?
We're going to increase it to 200. We had for each side of the district. We were previously at 150, but with the amount of staff we now have, we can engage more students.
Good job.
That's it. Very excited. That's great. Happening. And then the last thing, we are moving forward and continuing the middle school materials adoption for social studies and science. They've been currently piloting a couple different resources, and we hope to finalize our discussion and bring that to you at the end of May. We'll have materials available at our next meeting.
Great. Exciting things.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes. Who are you?
Here, I will talk fast, sorry.
Oh, take your time.
The summary of budget, statement of position, and the student activity reports for the period ending March 31, 2023 are provided for your review. And next, I have a motion for approving the tentative amended budget. As indicated in the backup, the primary focus at this point has been updating Fund 60 to capital projects, and we'll review the Ed Fund changes with the grants and that as time allows, but the primary focus was to address we were able to do additional work over the breaks and got farther ahead than we anticipated, so the expenditures exceeded what was allowable to go over as a variance. So the suggested motion is that the Board of Education approve the tentative amended budget for fiscal year 2023 as presented, establish Monday, June 26, 2023 as the date for the public hearing on the budget, direct the Assistant Superintendent for Finance and Operations to have published the notice of public hearing for this date, and to display the tentative amended budget for fiscal year 2023 in the Administration Center as required by law.
The motion, Ms. O'Connell. Ms. Brown, roll call please.
Hightower.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Moore. Aye. O'Connell.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, and then the next is an annual resolution to transfer fund interest between funds, and the township revised their manner of allocating interest So instead of doing it once a year, each quarter, they send us an update with the amount of interest earned by each member district, and then they transfer that. So this is transferring money from working cash to the ed fund and from debt service to operations and maintenance, and that's the interest earned on the fund balances in those funds. The suggested motion is that the Board of Education adopt the resolution authorizing and directing the transfer of interest between funds as presented.
Okay, motion, Ms. O'Connell. Ms. Moore, roll call please.
Moore. Aye. O'Connell.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next item is an annual item. Suggested motion that the Board of Education approve the renewal contract agreement with NSN Employer Services as presented.
Motion, Ms. O'Connell, Ms. Moore, roll call please.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Moore. Aye. Motion carried.
And again, we would providing information on student accident insurance. So the suggested motion is that the Board of Education authorize the business office to offer the student accident insurance program as presented by Zevitz Redfield and Associates Incorporated as a service to families in District 87 for the 2023-2024 school year.
Motion, Ms. O'Connell, Ms. Moore, roll call please.
Moore. Aye. Jackson.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
O'Connell. Aye. Motion carried.
And as discussed in the Facilities Committee, the next couple of motions will be related to change orders. So the suggested motion is that the Board of Education approve change orders number 143 through 156 as presented.
Motion, Ms. Jackson, Ms. O'Connell, roll call please.
Moore. Aye. Hightower.
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Motion carried.
That the Board of Education approve the change order for furniture for Sunnyside MacArthur projects, change order number 3 as presented.
Motion, Ms. O'Connell, Ms. Moore, roll call please.
Jackson.
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Motion carried.
And that the Board of Education approve change order 1 related to the Jefferson Primary Whittier Primary Schools Health Life Safety Renovation Project as presented.
Motion, Ms. O'Connell, Ms. Moore, roll call please.
Hightower.
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, and then moving along through the process of the property that was acquired at 205 South Wolf Road. We've done the abatement work and this is the next step. The suggested motion is that the Board of Education authorize the 205 South Wolf Road North Lake demolition project as presented.
Ms. O'Connell, Ms. Moore, roll call please.
Hightower.
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Well, when the timeline on demolition?
We will publish the bid notice in the second week of May. We will receive bids early June and bring the recommendation to award at the June board meeting with the goal of having the demolition completed over the summer. And again, the site will be prepared so that the backfill will be put in and it will be ready for whatever the district decides to do in the future. But at this time, we will have it prepared with black dirt and seeded. So it'll be a green space for now. And, you know, it will give Riley North Lake additional green space, whether we choose to put the picnic tables out there for outdoor class area. But again, it gives the board and the district opportunity to determine the best use of that property at a later date without the additional expenditure at this time. You're welcome. Okay, and I have a couple things. I received a call from Justin Miller from the Village of Berkeley. They received a grant through Commonwealth Edison funding for butterfly gardens or natural plantings. Mr. Miller is working with the ComEd grant representative to determine if they can coordinate with District 87 and try and put some natural plantings along the areas surrounding the Sunnyside MacArthur property. So we will have additional updates on that. And then we received the electric measure incentives for the energy efficiencies in the new construction. And we were awarded a check for $18,249 for the incentives of the energy efficiency at the new building. And you know, I usually don't have all this good news, but I do this month.
That's good.
It is. And we received notice that we were awarded the FY 2023 National School Lunch Program Equipment Assistance Grant for the period of May 2023 through June 30, 2024 to purchase additional piece of equipment that we left space for future use in the MacArthur kitchen. So we will move forward with purchasing that additional piece of equipment next year. And that is the end of my report unless there are any questions.
Any questions? This is on the roll.
Thank you.
It's on the roll. Okay.
That's it. I'm gonna end on a high note.
All right.
Few updates, give you an update regarding hiring. We have been able to find a few candidates. We'll bring them to you at our next school board meeting for approval. And also wanted to remind you about your statement of economic interest due by May 1st. So make sure you get those in, and I'll send you a reminder to speak a couple. And then last but not least, this is to get your consensus in June, I believe the last week of June. I've been accepted to participate in the Aspiring Superintendent's Academy. So it's a week-long kind of workshop where you learn about the superintendency. And so it will take place in Springfield. And I wanted to get your consensus to participate in it. I think the cost of it is about $700 to $800. So I wanted to get your consensus to participate in that. Yes.
Board, do we agree?
Thank you very much. And unless you have questions, that's the end of my report.
Good report. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Martin, I'll start with you, sir.
Not a whole lot of information to share. Working on some technology items at Riley North Lake. Winding down the school year, technology collection and other items. So yeah, kind of no news is good news. So everything.
Everything you need?
Everything I need.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Likewise.
All right, Mr. White.
Here, most of my stuff is waste me, but we're working on our waste disposal permits and we got another round of interviews, so I have a few candidates come in and have a few more seconds. So it's all good.
How we doing in harm? Good.
This has been this last batch of interviews. I got about 4 or 5 people interviews set up, so it's the most I've had in a long time.
Great. So you're good leader. It's all about
That's
you.
it, but that's good news.
Good, that's good. Okay. North Lake representative tonight, sir. Well, Michael's got to tell us anything.
I have
No news?
Just thanks for having me.
You're always welcome.
That's good.
Always welcome. Okay, I know it's getting late. We have after this board, we have another closed session, so.
So no one else needs to stay. We won't come back into open session. We'll just dismiss from the closed session. And I did want to mention for the board, we do need more people to participate in graduation. So Mr. Hightower, you have volunteered to do both graduations. We do need, if we could, get 2 more board members for graduation. Please let Lizette know, and I'll keep putting a reminder in the weekly memo. But no need to be shy. No need that.
So my daughters are graduating and I prefer not to, but if you don't have anyone let me know. If like there's no volunteers, I'll do it, but I prefer just to sit in the audience and watch my kids.
Oh,
But
that's special.
just let me.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay, announcement, next board meeting, May 22nd, 7 P.M. Yeah. I guess we try to, wait. Going close. Thanks, everybody, appreciate you.
See you, Mr. Burr.